Good evening, everyone. This is Chris on Around the ATL Side Notes for Monday evening. Hopefully, everybody is having a good day. This is going to be the second half of a show I started on Sunday where I did a game review, Detroit versus Atlanta. And then I started talking about Atlanta Hawks legacy, but I cut it short because I had an appointment. So tonight I'm going to go through the rest of that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from where I started instead of kind of starting halfway point. So that way, those who didn't see the show yesterday, they'll get part of it today. All right. But before we go and get started, definitely want to mention thanks for those who have been watching and listening to Around the ATL over the years or whatnot. I appreciate the support as usual. Subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio page on YouTube as you see it scrolling across the bottom there. Appreciate that. Sponsors, of course, for all of our shows, Southern Classic Transportation. They are in Atlanta, Georgia. They are the best limo service in the city. They drive all types of people, execs, superstar athletes, all type of people. And you can contact them 404-291-0150. Ask for Dennis. Let them know Around the ATL sent you. They will take you to your destination, wait, take you back to your other destination. They'll take you out of state even if you don't want to fly somewhere. They will drive you. So again, if you want that kind of service and attention to detail, make sure you contact them. Of course, our other sponsor, IMTMWorldwideImages.com. You can also call 706-393-8426 if you need photos, business, entertainment, family photos, whatever your needs. Make sure you give them a call. And again, let them know Around the ATL sent you. Oh, be sure to visit the IMTMWorldwideRadio.com website as well. There are going to be some new articles there eventually, some sports articles, but there are some from the past few years as well. They are Atlanta Hawks centric. If you're an Atlanta Hawks fan, you're watching this, so make sure you visit there. Plus, you can get updates of all the shows upcoming as well. So make sure you visit there. Also, you get to see some of our sponsors and contributors. And that being said, let's mention some of those contributors. Jamal Price of Price Design Club. He actually created the original Around the ATL logo and the current one. Artist Ram One and producer Calcutta, who are responsible for the new theme song for the show. Appreciate that. And Yolanda Elder Strong, who just helped out a little bit, keep Around the ATL going. So appreciate all of our contributors and our sponsors. And of course, if you want to become a sponsor, you can contact me directly, either on Facebook or Instagram, IMTM Worldwide on Facebook or Instagram. You can also reach out to both myself and my co-host, Jordan Jackson, on Twitter, if I can find that real quick. And there we are. IMTM Radio and Jordan23 ATL on Twitter. Now, let's get into it. Now, again, yesterday's show was primarily game review. I haven't been doing any game reviews lately because of time. The last one I did was the Orlando game, which was the first game after the All-Star break. Okay. So the second one was Detroit Pistons, where we lost that game 148 to 143. I'm not going to repeat that show because there's a lot of information in that show, but I showed you possession for possession. How did we actually lose that game rather than how you think we lost that game? Go watch it, I suggest, on the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page as you see it scrolling down there. Just click on it after this, though. Don't go anywhere now. Watch this instead. So I started talking about Atlanta Hawks legacy though after that, and I got pretty good into it. But then I saw what time it was. I had to go play basketball that night, so I left. So we're gonna start the second half of that episode, okay? And I'm gonna finish the whole thing because it's important. So let me get back to my notes here. So I have a scenario for you. Well, actually, before I do that, no, I'll go ahead and give you the scenario. So we're talking about the handling of situations or whatnot, right? I want to give you an example, and I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a person that this applies to, okay? And I want you to think of what your reaction would be, okay, as I give this example. Now, bear with me now, okay, because I need to give you this the right way, all right? So, most of everybody that will watch this, whether it be now, later, tomorrow, next week, next year, has a job of some sort. Okay, you work somewhere. You work, you have a job, right? And let's say that you're not the president of the company, you're not the manager of the company, you're not the supervisor, but you're working at this company, wherever you work at, whatever you do. How would you feel if there was a meeting called and all the employees of that company had to go to that meeting? You were there, right? And at this meeting, they make an announcement that the company is in trouble. The company is doing bad. It's about to go under. And at this meeting, they announced that the reason the company is going bad and everything is falling apart is you. Now, let's take into consideration that you're the best employee of this company and you know it. And everybody else knows it too. You're the best at doing your job, whatever that is. You lead in sales. You're the best at taking calls if it's customer service. If it's design work, you're the best designer. You're in construction. You're able to construct these monuments, whatever it is. You're able to make the fidget wickets or whatever, right? You're the best at your job, and everybody knows it. So it's quite a shock that you hear your name, nobody else. You're the reason that the company is falling apart, that the company is about to go under. You're the reason. You alone are the reason. It's a shock to you because as the best employee, you have an awareness of what actually is going on. You kind of know that this person over here is not doing that well. They're kind of, fidgeting the numbers a little bit on their sales to make it look like they're doing well, but they're not making no sales. Or this person over here is actually doing some devious stuff with social security numbers, right? Or this person over here is using phone dialers to make their calls instead of them making their own calls. And you also know because you help a lot of people too. You are the one who you're the go-to person. Hey, you need to go hit. Hey, he can help you. He knows what to do. He knows how to fix that. Blah 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 blah. So this can't be your fault. But you've been told in front of everybody, and everybody else has heard you're the reason that the company is falling apart. Now, ask yourself: wouldn't you feel some kind of way if that actually happened in real life, real talk? Wouldn't you feel some kind of way? Or would you just shrug it off, be like, they can't be talking about me, even though they use my name, first name, last name, government name, on stage, company function, company meeting. This meeting was specifically called to say the company is going under. You sure you wouldn't feel some kind of way? Let me ask you this. Would you still want to work at that company? If you knew you were the best, and there's nothing about being braggadocious or anything, sometimes you just know you're the best, whether it be by the numbers, you have more sales than anybody, you have led the company in this or that, or you've created business, you're a business creator, right? You've brought tons of cash into the company, right? I used to be a recruiter, okay, not too long ago before the company went out of business. I made that company in 2 years $260,000. But it wasn't enough because the company still went under. Now I'm not. Now, by the way, I wasn't the example that I was talking about. What I wasn't talking about that. The company just went under because they just didn't get enough new clients. That wasn't my department. My department was hire the best people. Okay, and that's what I did. But all of us were laid off. All of us, were laid off. It wasn't because anybody did bad. The company just didn't get enough clients and they couldn't sustain it. I wasn't. That wasn't my example. I'm just trying to tell you. But again, you would still want to stay at that company where you've been told that you're the reason. Okay. By the way, I got award for my last company too. By the way, but anyway, so let's say now, if that scenario was real, again, how would you feel? You have been blamed for the company going under, even though you know you can't be the blame. You know far and above it's not your fault at all, but you've been blamed for it. That scenario is what Trae Young has been going through for 7 years now. He's been blamed for everything, every game, every week for 7 years. In print, video, television, well, everything. Thousands of posts, thousands of hours of audio, thousands of video of individuals out there saying it's his fault. And that's just strange to me. Okay? Because we're talking about Hawks history, okay? He's done more in Hawks history than any other player in Hawks history, period. Period. Except for one, that's Dominique Wilkins. And that is going to also change within the next 7 years or so. Right? Am I wrong? Like, think about that statement, what I just said. Right? Trae Young gets blamed for everything, even in wins, which is absurd, of course. But in losses, how is he the blame for each and every single loss? Does that make any logical sense? But he gets blamed for everything no matter what, right? And I think that's a problem. And again, I want to be clear about this part. If you don't mention anybody else at fault, it's just like a lie of omission. It's because you didn't say it. It wasn't supposed to be, oh, well, Trae isn't the reason for everything. Well, who else is there? And again, let me say this before I finish this out. This is not about blame or fault or anything like that. It's just a statement or the lack of statement. Because again, there's always going to be criticisms and being upset because of a loss and things of that nature. But there was a statement that I saw, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, I don't know when, maybe Sunday night. Well, this time you can't blame Trae. This time you can't blame Trae? You see that statement right there? Well, who else are you blaming then? Because there was no follow-up to that. But every game is like that, though. You see what I'm saying? Even when you know it's not. It don't have nothing to do with Trae. There's times where it's never been. Of course, there's times where it has been. Bad shooting night like 2 nights ago. Terrible shooting night. Couldn't do nothing right. Bumbling stuff. Okay, that's that game. Well, what about all the other ones? Because there's people out there who make it out like Trae Young gets you 12 points and 3 assists a game, every game. That's how people talk out here. And you know that's not true because you know what his career average is. Right? So that's why I started doing game reviews, because I said, okay, well, this is crazy. Because if you're not willing to say anybody else's name in a sentence, well, let's see if it's actually Trae Young's fault every loss. Let's see. Let's do game for game, shot for shot, possession for possession, and let's see what's going on. And that's why I started doing game reviews a year ago. I did the last 8 games of the 2023 season. I did start doing the first 6, 7 games of the 2024 season. Then things got hectic. Okay, I did the San Antonio game, and then I just started doing game reviews again, starting with after the All-Star break. I did Orlando, and then I just the other night Pistons, which was yesterday actually. Possession for possession. Let's see who's giving up all the points. Let's see if Trae Young was giving up 148 points in a game. Because if he did, now you have an argument. Let's see if Trae Young, off of his 9 turnovers, did he give up 27 points off of 9 turnovers? You'd have a huge argument if he did, but he didn't. And then also, again, what have I always said? If you can't score, you need to stop somebody. If you can't stop nobody, you need to score. You can't do neither, right? Said that for years now, right? So, for example, if you do 38 and 15 and you contribute 60 something points to the game, you don't think he gives up 21 points or 20 points in the game, but he was responsible for 68 points? He had 15 points and 5 assists in the fourth quarter alone. Remember, he leads in, or up to the time of yesterday's recording, he was leading in, well, of course, assists total and per game still. 21 potential assists a game, which means 10 shots at least are being missed off of his assist every game. 10 shots, 10 to 12 shots a game being missed. Trae Young should be averaging 21 assists a game. Clutch points and clutch assists and points, points generated from assists. He's leading in all those categories in the NBA. He's not at the bottom of the NBA in those categories. He's at the top. But yet people will say it's his fault. They lost because of Trae and Trae alone. That's what the people are saying. And again, you don't have to say the words. You can just admit everyone else. Who else do you have left? It's Trae. That's what people are doing out here. There was a game, I believe it was the Orlando game. He had 15 points in that fourth quarter. We had 4 players score 0 points, but Trae Young is blamed for that game too. I just think that's strange. By the way, 35 points in the Orlando game that we didn't score from passes from Trae Young. We left 35 points on the board. We lost that game by 6 points, I believe, right? The Pistons game, we left 32 points on the board. 14 of them in the second quarter alone. 14 points in the second quarter. That's where you lost your game. But Trae is blamed. We literally left 32 points on the board, 12 passes from Trae Young generating wide open shots, and they missed all of them. We lost by 5. What did Shannon Sharp say? Lost by 5, right? Y'all know the meme, right? So I show y'all, okay, well, the other thing is 24 fast break points, 68 points in the paint given up. We gave up 23s in that game at 50% shooting. So did one person give up 68 points in the paint, 24 fast break points, and all 23 pointers? Because if so, now you have an argument again. If that was true, but it's not. Everybody was giving up threes in that game because it gave up 20 of those suckers, right? So why aren't the other players who are giving up buckets at fault at all? At all? Like, they don't got nothing to do with them, right? Because that's what people keep doing. That's what people keep saying with their omission of names. Be upset about a loss and say, okay, I'm critical of this, that, and that, and the reason that we lost. But if you can never say anybody else except for one player, you're blaming that one player and that one player alone. And I don't think that's right. That's the only reason I started doing game reviews. Because if you would say, well, shoot, Hunter should have locked that dude up. How come Kobe White had 42 points? How come Malachi Flynn had 50 points in a game Trae Young didn't even play in? How you blaming Trae Young for 50 points given up by Malachi Flynn? Trae didn't even play. How do you blow a 92-77 lead? Trae didn't play the fourth quarter. Where is everybody? How come we gave up 18, 23, and 18 three-pointers in 3 straight games? Trae didn't play in those. What are we talking about? Right? And you don't got nothing to say? Playing game against Chicago. Hunter had 8 points and 2 boards. No one says nothing. It don't matter. Clint gave up 29 points in the game. Don't matter. I think it does, but nobody says anything though. So let's talk complete and total history of a player now. Okay. And again, make sure you subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page. You're scrolling right there at the bottom. I appreciate that. Let's get into some total. What's the word I'm looking for here? Because this is Hawks legacy here. Okay. And I'm gonna name some of. I'm gonna talk about some of this stuff, and you tell me how we don't got to talk about outside Hawks yet. Players outside the Hawks just yet. Let's just think about all the Atlanta Hawks that have ever played basketball. All the Atlanta Hawks who've ever put on a uniform. Think about all those different players, and now let's talk about this one right here. And you explain to me how he's trash. Explain to me how he's terrible compared to all the other players that have ever worn a uniform, ever drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. Remember you know what? I'm going to pull that up too. I'm going to add that on the fly. I forgot about that. I don't think I added that because in this particular episode, I actually combined certain episodes I've done over the last year, but this is one thing I did forget. I'm glad I did this now. Is that right? Let's see. Is this going to give me what I need? Let's see. I'll go ahead and throw this in there. 76 seasons. Record 2,959 wins, 3,046 losses, 49 playoff appearances, 1 championship. St. Louis Hawks, right? So before I even get to where I was going to get, I'm going to do this first. Let's go back, way back in time. What time is it? Let's go back. Let's go to 1980. Let's go 1982. No. Yeah, 1982. First round, Keith Edmondson. 1983. Second round, Doc Rivers. By the way, this is when we had like 75,000 people drafted. Every draft, every team had like 30 picks or so. So I'm not naming all these other picks. I'm just picking one per draft for a little bit here. 1984, Kevin Willis. Okay, so back-to-back drafts, 83, Doc Rivers, 84, Kevin Willis, right? 85, Concat. And remember the trade, Dominique Wilkins, somewhere in there, right? We also got John Battle. We also drafted Arvydas Sabonis, but you know he never played as a Hawk, right? 1986. Billy Thompson, first round, 19th pick, but he ended up going somewhere else. 1987. Goodness. 1988. 1989, Roy Marble. 1990, Ramil Robinson. 1991, Plastic Man, Stacey Augmon. 1992, number 10 pick in the draft, Adam Keefe. Adam Keefe, y'all. 5 points a game. But anyway, 1993, Doug Edwards. 1994, Galen Nickerson. He was our only pick that year. 1995, Hindu, Allen Henderson, Donnie Boyce, Troy Brown, Quinzo Martin out of Purdue. 1996, Priest Lauderdale with the 28th pick in the first round. 3.4 points. 1997, Ed Gray and Chris Crawford. I thought Chris Crawford was going to be somebody. I tell you now. 6 points a game, both of them. 1998, Sean McLeod. 1999, Jermaine Jones, Deion Glover, Cal Butler, and of course the Jet, Jason Terry. Now, that was one great pick for the Atlanta Hawks for sure. 2000, DeMar Johnson. Hano, Scooney Penn. 2001, another player that never played for us, Pau Gasol. We drafted Pau Gasol. Sure did. 2002, David Anderson. 2003, Boris Diaw. Now, here's where we actually started doing a little something. Started building. We kind of started a little something here. 2004, Jay Chill, Josh Childress. Jay Smooth, Josh Smith. Royale Ivy. Royale with cheese, right? 2005, Marvin Williams. Are you kidding me? Okay. I don't know what just. Oh, I do know what happened. Okay, I can fix that. Okay, so I know I froze up, so I apologize for that. I'll start from where I was at. I was talking about Marvin Williams, 2005, first round, number 2 pick in the draft. Remember Marvin Williams, right? Now, 2006, Sheldon Williams and Solomon Jones, 2006. 2007, AC Law, Al Horford, 2007. 2009, because we didn't have a pick in 2008, Jeff Teague. 2010, Damian Jones. Poppy, whatever. 2011, Keith Benson. By the way, since 1996, the Atlanta Hawks have drafted 3 7-footers. I've named 2 of them so far. Who are they? Reese Lauderdale, just mentioned the other one, Keith Benson, getting close to the last one. 2012, John Jenkins and Mike Scott. 2013, Dennis, Shane Larkin. 2014, Adrian Payne and Eddie Tavares, the third 7-footer the Hawks have drafted since 1996. 3. That's it. 3. That's it. Now think about since 1996, all the bigs that have played in the NBA and who the Hawks have had to play and who we've had to go up against those guys. Think about this stuff now. 2015, Kelly Oubre. We know where that pick went and who we got in return. 2016, DeAndre Bembry. 2017, John Collins, Tyler Dorsey, Alpha Kaba. 2018, of course, we already know, we got Trey. Kevin Herter and Omari Spellman. 2019, Cam Reddish. 2020, Double O, Skylar Mays. 2021, Jalen, who we couldn't let him play because TLC had to get all his minutes, and Sharif Cooper. 2022, AJ Griffin. 2023, Kobe and Seth. And of course, most recently, who should be the rookie of the year, but they don't want him to be great, so they play him 10 minutes a game in Zachary Richardson. That's our draft. It's our draft, y'all. Now think about we of course over the last, let's say, well, of course, from 2018, we only have a couple of people left, obviously. But just think some of the other players in the NBA who've been drafted since, 2010-ish or whatnot. Just think about that. Longevity, Hawks legacy. It's a problem, y'all. It's a problem. So let's get back to where I was going to begin before I got into the Hawks draft there. So Trae Young, let's talk about Trae Young for a little bit. Trae Young currently, before I recorded this, before I did this, this was before the Clippers game. So I'm not updated since then. Okay, because I thought I was going to do the show before then. Trae Young currently at 4,536 assists. Okay, he's a Hawks all-time leader. We all know this in assists. He's passed Kyrie Irving in assists. Is Kyrie Irving a bum? Is he trash? Is he terrible? Is he the worst player of all time? Kyrie Irving. He's passed Kyrie Irving. So to demean and dismiss Trae's career, you also have to do that with Kyrie Irving, who he's passed in assists all time. And Kyrie is still playing. This is Trae Young's 7th season. Think about that. Because he's also has passed Ray Allen, Spud Webb, former Hawk, Tim Duncan, Giannis, Dennis, former Hawk, Grant Hill, Charles Barkley, and T-Mac. By the end of this season, he has a shot to also pass Jay Crossover, Jamal Crawford, former Hawk, Jeff Teague, former Hawk, Jason Williams, White Chocolate, Joe Dumars, Wilt Chamberlain, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, DeMar DeRozan, and has a small outside chance this season, small, Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, and Mark Price. Think about how long Draymond and Kevin Durant have been playing, and he can pass those guys by the end of the year. But Mark Price too? Next season, by the end of next season, Trae Young is going to pass Doc Rivers, former Hawk, ISO Joe, former Hawk, Nate McMillan, former Hawks coach, Walt Frazier, Kenny Anderson, Joker. Now, the Joker one is going to be kind of not tedious, but tough. If Joker retired, he's going to pass Joker, but Joker might not retire. So if Joker is still playing, he's neck and neck with Joker already in all-time assists. Joker has played 10 seasons in the NBA, plus, right? Whatever it is, 10, 11. This next year will be 11, right? Trae Young's about to catch Joker, okay? Karl Malone, Jason Terry, just mentioned him, right? Former Hawk. Allen Iverson, former MVP. Michael Jordan, multiple-time MVP and champion. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Larry Bird, and Dwayne Wade. Season 8. Trae Young's going to pass all those guys. So are all those guys trash too? All of them? As players? Nate used to be a player, right? For a long time. All those assists he used to get, cumulatively, right? AI, Michael Jordan, who averaged 5 assists a game for his career, right? Trae is 6th all-time in Hawks scoring. Let's get back to the Hawks. Of course, he's first in assists, total assists, everything assist related. He's also first in threes made, right? He's 4th in free throws made. Currently, he'll pass everybody on that. By the way, did you know Dominique Wilkins led the Hawks in turnovers? I didn't know that. 2,286. Trae is 2nd. I guess Trae will catch him eventually, I guess, right? Now, let's talk playoffs in Hawks history just a little bit. For a single playoff series, Trae is the Hawks' all-time leader with 461 points in a playoff series. That was in 2021, obviously, right? Now, all-time, Trae Young is 16th. Per the fact, he's only in all-time NBA history, that is. He's only played 27 games in the playoffs. No, that's Hawks. My bad, Hawks history. 16th in scoring in Hawks history because he's only played 27 games. You have a lot of Hawks who played more games than him, obviously. But in those games, he's averaging 26 and 9. 26 and 9 in the playoffs is better than Chris Paul, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, and John Stockton. John Stockton 13 and 10, Steve Nash 17 and 8, Jason Kidd 12 and 8, Chris Paul, which is the closest, 20 and 8. Trae Young is averaging 26 and 9 in the playoffs, but he's trash though. Magic Johnson averaged 19 and 12 in the playoffs, but you know who he had around him though, most of his career, 13 seasons, right? But again, those players had 10 years in the NBA plus. Trae's played 7. Dominique Wilkins also averaged 26 a game in the playoffs as well. Now, we all know that Trey is one of two players to lead the NBA in both points and assists total, right? Only two people have done that in all of NBA history. NBA has been around for a long time. The Hawks have been around for 70 plus years, right? And by the way, hopefully y'all don't hear too much from over next door. Their rooftop is open. It's a holiday over there, right? So they've been cranking their music for a few hours now. I tried to wait them out. I couldn't do it anymore. So hopefully it's not too much of a distraction. Whoever watches this now, tomorrow, next week, whenever. Okay. So Trey Young, here's some notes. Again, ask yourself, is Trey Young really just sorry? He's trash. He's terrible. He's bad all the time. Trey Young was the first rookie since Michael Jordan to put up a 45-15 assist game. 45 points, 15 assists. Is Michael Jordan sorry because he did it first? 2019, he passed Michael Jordan for second for all time 30-point, 10 assist games by a rookie in history. He is over Curry and Michael Jordan. In 2021, fifth player in NBA history to record at least 15 career 40-point games, 22 years old or younger. In the playoffs, 2021 joined MJ as the only two players in history to score 30 points in 3 straight road playoff games against the Knicks. Nobody else had ever done that before. First player to record at least 25 points and 18 assists since Tim Hardaway. Youngest player to have 20 points and 15 assists in a playoff game. Longest streak of 11 games in playoff history with 20 points and at least 7 assists. Joined Doc Rivers as the only Hawks to record a double-double with points and assists in a game 7. Youngest player to record 40 points and 10 assists in a conference finals game. First Hawk to score 20 points and 10 assists in 3 straight playoff games. First player in NBA history to record 45 points and 10 assists in a conference finals game. Trey is currently 8th in NBA history in 20-point, 10 assist games. 3 away from John Stockton. Is John Stockton trash? I don't think he is. Within the next year or two, he's going to pass Isaiah Thomas of the Pistons, Chris Paul, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Magic Johnson, and LeBron whenever he decides to retire. He's going to pass all of those guys basically next year in 20-point, 10 assist games in NBA history. Everybody. He's trash though. He's sorry. Everything is his fault. His fault alone. Think about all the players those other guys I mentioned had around them over 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years continually. We're going to get to that in a second too. Trey is currently 3rd all time in 30-point, 10 assist games, or 4th if you count Oscar Robertson, obviously. James Harden and LeBron are the only ones ahead of him now. Those two are still active. He's right behind them, clipping at their heels, so to speak. He's played 7 seasons. He's about to catch LeBron James and James Harden in 30-point, 10 assist games in all of NBA history, but he's trash. Trey has 41 15 assist games since 2018. That's 10 more than anybody else in the NBA. 15 assists games. No other point guard is doing these things. But Trey is terrible? He's the worst of all time? Well, some people will say, well, Chris, Trey Young is 210 and 250 updated 8 record with the Atlanta Hawks, 258 losses. So he can't be that good, Chris. Carmelo Anthony was 196 and 216 with the New York Knicks. Made the playoffs 3 times. Never passed the second round. 4 straight 45 or more lost seasons. And this was after the 50-win season that they had. Is Carmelo Anthony a bum? Is he sorry? Is he terrible? No, he is not. He's one of the greatest scorers of our time. But he didn't win. Not in New York, he didn't. So you label him a loser too? Because the New York Knicks decided not to put nobody around him for how many seasons? Like, think about that. Carmelo Anthony, certified bucket getter, right? That's what the term is, right? And the New York Knickerbockers never put a team around him, and they lost. lost. Not competitive, not competitive, not competitive. But he's doing this all the time, so that was enough. Put butts in the seats. That was it. That was shine the glitter of Madison Square Garden. That was enough. Playing on Sundays and stuff, but not playing any meaningful basketball in the playoffs. Carmelo Anthony, Damian Lillard, Dame time, got the one conference final, I believe. I might be wrong, but I believe it's correct. Mostly got knocked out in the first round. 12 seasons in Portland. Did they win a championship in Portland? Did they get to the finals in Portland? I don't think they did. Damian Lillard, sorry too, though. And he had a lot of good players around him over a period of time, as evidence from the fact that they were always in the playoffs. Right? Strange. James Harden has 166 playoff games. He doesn't have a championship. Westbrook has 122 playoff games. He doesn't have a championship. Chris Paul has 149 playoff games. He doesn't have a championship. Jimmy Butler has 119 playoff games, 2 finals appearances, though, but he still doesn't have a ring. All those guys are sorry, too, because they don't have rings. Last I checked. Did one of them win a championship that I didn't know about? A fake championship? And all of them had really good talent around them, too. Think about that, right? Reggie Miller got to a finals. His team won a lot of playoff games. Reggie Miller, sorry? Do people blame him for not winning a championship? Blame Reggie Miller, one of the best clutch shooters of all time. And look at those Pacer rosters. Y'all remember Derek McKee? Y'all remember Mark Jackson, Rick Smits, the Davis brothers? Hated those guys, right? Playing against the Hawks all the time, right? Detlef Shrimp, Chuck Pearson, sharpshooter. Talking about some Hawks legacy. Those battles we had to go against them. Patrick Ewing, he's sorry too. He got the 2 finals, didn't win. All those Knicks teams we had to battle. I posted on my Twitter page a month ago how Dominique had a game where he scored, I think it was either 48 or 52 points. It was something crazy. But Patrick had 40-something, and then Gerald had 26. Our second leading scorer, I think, had 17. We lost the game, of course. Hawks never did nothing for Dominique for 12 seasons either, right? But Dominique is sorry. He has a statue in front of State Farm Arena. Doesn't have an MVP. Didn't get the Hawks to a championship. Didn't get the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals. Does have a scoring championship, the 2 slam dunk championships, where we know he's supposed to have 3. We all know that as Hawks fans. But if you're going to be equal opportunity, how come you don't hate Dominique? Because he also did not get us to a championship. But I've done a whole episode about those 80s teams, and I showed y'all year after year after year, playoffs. Here's what Dominique was doing in the playoffs, and here's the rest of the team. How were we supposed to beat the legacy Knicks, legacy Celtics, legacy Bulls, legacy Pistons, Cleveland Cavaliers even? All these teams in the East were dominant back then. How we were supposed to beat them in the playoffs? In the regular season, we were cool. But the playoffs are the playoffs, and you needed more. Dominique didn't have more around him. Strange. Karl Malone, is he sorry too? Went back-to-back finals against Michael Jordan. 36,000 points in his career. He's sorry. John Stockton, NBA leader in assists and points. Steals. He's sorry too. He's trash because he didn't win a ring. Because if you say Trey is trash because he hasn't won a ring for the Hawks, you got to label all those people that he's about to pass, all those people he's adjacent to, as sorry as well. You got to do it. Equal opportunity, right? Dominique averaged 26 7 boards and a steal as a Hawk. 26,000 total points as a player. Again, statue. There's a Neek night. There's a Dominique Wilkins night. Why? Per those who don't think that amounts to much. Because Trey is pacing all of this stuff right now, y'all. Y'all know that, right? I just told you. He's sorry, though? He's the reason? He's the only reason. Let's get into some more stuff, though. 2018 season, the Atlanta Hawks scored 113 points a game, gave up 119 points a game, had an offensive rating that was 23rd in the league, defensive rating that was 27th. First in pace of play, at 29-53 record that they ended up with. Now, all 53 losses were Trae Young's fault, right? Let's look. Jalen Adams, Justin Anderson, Kent Bazemore, DeAndre Bembry, Vince Carter, John Collins, Devontae Davis, Dwayne Dedman, Tyler Dorsey, Daniel Hamilton, Kevin Huerter, Isaac Humphries, B.J. Johnson, Alex Lynn, Jeremy Lin, Miles Plumlee, Alex Poitras, Taurean Prince, Jordan Siebert, Omari Spellman, Trae Young, Tyler Zeller. That was our roster for the 2018 season. For that season, Trae Young averaged 19 points, 8 assists. Taurean 13. Red Mamba 9.7. Bazemore 11. Collins 19 and 9.8 boards. Okay. Remember, John Collins, by the way, just an offhand comment, he was a second leading scorer on the Hawks until DJ got there. There was nobody else who was second leading scorer on the team. It was Trae Young and John Collins every night. For 4 straight seasons. But anyway, Bembry, 8 points. Jeremy Lin, 10. Vince, 7. Dedman, 10. Tyler, 3. Alex Lynn, 11. Jalen, 3. Justin, 3. Devontae, 4. Daniel Hamilton, 3. Isaac Humphries, 3. Miles Plumlee, 4. Omari, 5. Now, keep in mind, with some of these players, they didn't play a certain amount of games. So that kind of goes into their point differentials or whatever. Some of them were spot duty at best. So some of these rosters, when I go through them, I might not even mention them because they didn't even really play any games. I'll just giving you a heads up. 2018 season, the Warriors were winning with Clay and Curry and KD and Draymond and Livingston and Jamal McGee and Nick Young. Boston had Tatum, Brown, Kyrie, Marcus Smart, Horford, Robert Williams. They won 49 games in 2018. Bucks won 60 games that year. Giannis, Brogdon, DaVincio, I can't pronounce his name. Gasol, Brooke Lopez, Middleton, Della Hobbit was there, Bledsoe, Mirotic, George Hill. They won 60 games. Raptors won 58 games. They had OG there, Marc Gasol, Ibaka, Kyle Lowry, Siakam, DeLon Wright, Van Fleet, the Claw. The Magic had Vucevic, Terrence Ross, Mo Bamba, Fournier, Aaron Gordon. They finished 6th that year. Philly had Joel, Jimmy Butler, Tobias, TJ McConnell, Shake Milton, Moose, Muscala, JJ Redick, Ben Simmons, Covington, Corey Brewer, Greg Monroe, Saric, Mike Scott. They won 51 games. It's 2018. I named y'all what we had on our roster. I'm naming you the rest of the East. Pistons, they finished 41-41. Bruce Brown, Drummond, Blake Griffin, Reggie Jackson, Pachulia, Glenn Robinson, Ish Smith, Reggie Bullock, Jose Calderon. The Heat that year had year one Bam. He had just finished his rookie season. Duncan Robinson, Hassan Whiteside, still kind of okay, I guess. Dion Waiters, Haslam, Dwayne Wade. They also finished ahead of the Hawks. Okay. But again, the Hawks, we gave up 6 more points than we scored that particular season. We were basically relying on 19 a game from Trae and John. Okay. Third leading scorer was what? Prince with 13. Nobody else had 10 in any game. Well, my bad. Bays had 11 a game. But that roster was supposed to compete in the East, though. Ooh, excuse me. That roster was supposed. I just named y'all who was on our roster. So y'all tell me how we were supposed to do something with how we were set up. And also remember, we weren't going to be coached on defense. Defense wasn't important. That's what we were told, right? And all we had to do was just maybe stop a few more points. We would have competed that year. I've been saying this for years. If we had played any amount of defense those first couple of years, we would have been in the playoffs from day one. Because Trae said he wanted to be in the playoffs. Summer League. And I said that. I said that on Around the ATL. Make sure you subscribe to IMTM Worldwide Radio. Scrolling there on the bottom right there. But I said it in 2018. Trey is trying to get 20 assists a game. But we didn't want to teach nobody how to play no defense. Just shrug shoulders and let's just score. That's what the coach said. But anyway, get into that another time. Let's go to 2019. We scored 111 points a game, gave up 119 points again. No improvement. Dead last that particular year. One player doesn't give up 119 points. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it doesn't happen. We were 26 in offensive rating, 27th in defensive rating. Pace of play 5th, 20 and 47 record. All 47 losses were Trey Young's fault. Here's our roster for 2019. DeAndre Bembry, Charlie Brown, Vince Carter, John Collins, Alan Crabb, Dwayne Dedman, Bruno Fernando, Brandon Goodwin, Travion Graham, Red Mamba again, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Damian Jones, Alex Lynn, Jabari Parker, Chandler Parsons, Cam Reddish, Jeff Teague, Evan Turner. Y'all know the emphasis on those two names anyway. Tyrone Wallace, Paul Watson, and then Trey Young. Bembry, 5.8 points a game. Charlie Brown, 2 points. Vince Carter, 5 points. John Collins, 21 and 10. We gave him the ball that year. Alan Crabb, 5. Dedman, 8. Fernando, 4. Goodwin, 6. Graham, 3. Herder, 12. Hunter, 12. Damian Jones, 5. Alex Lynn, 8. Jabari Parker, 15. Now, Jabari did play good pretty much. Chandler Parsons, 2. Cam, 10. Jeff Teague, 10. Evan Turner, 3. Tyrone Wallace, 2. Paul Watson, 0. And Trey Young, 29 and 9. Trey's terrible. Sorry. I'm looking at 6, 3, 5, 2, 8, 29 and 9. It's Trey's fault. And only Trey's fault, right? Let's look at the 2020 team. Now, remember, I've said in previous episodes on Around the ATL side notes that 2020 season was the first time that the organization said, okay, let's try to fix some of these issues. And we got Clint, right? We got Bogey, right? And we got certain other people. So let's name off a little bit of the 2020 team. But first, we scored 113 points that season. That was 13th. We gave up 111 a game. Right? 12th in the league. 8th in offensive rating, 21 in defense. Pace of play, 23rd. Team went 41 and 31. And of course, we beat the Knicks in Philly to get to the ECF, lost 4 games to 2 to the eventual NBA champion Bucks, right? Bogey, Clint, John Collins, Chris Dunn, Bruno, Gallo, Brandon Goodwin, Solo, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, Nathan Knight, the Dark Knight, Skylar Mays, Double O, Okongwu, Cam Reddish, Rajon Rondo, Tony Snell, Lou Will, Trey Young. Bogey, 16 points a game. Clint, 15 and 14. He was killing it. John, 17 and 7, still second leading scorer on the team. Dunn only played 4 games. Fernando, 1.5. Gallo, 13. Brandon, 5. Solo, 4.5. Kevin, 12. Hunter, bumped up a little, 15. Nathan, 3.8. Skylar, 3.8. O, 4.6. Cam, 11. Rondo, 3.9. Tony, 5. Lou Will, 10. Trey, 25, 9.4. Of course, I've done an episode about the playoffs of the 2020 season, 2021 playoffs. Go check it out. I have an episode called "Is Trey Young Really Unnecessary?" Go look at that. Okay, I broke down, and then again, this is the episode actually where I broke down the appearances of Dominique Wilkins' teams, the 60-win team, and the Trey Young playoff teams. Okay. But again, remember the previous 2 seasons I just mentioned, 2018, 2019, right? Got the Trash Brothers, just the rest of that roster, right? 2020, we got a better set of players, and it worked. It paid off, right? Playoffs. Trey, 28.8 and 9.5 assists. Bogey, 14. John, 13.9, so basically 14. Clint, 10 points, 11 boards. Kevin, 11. Hunter, 10.8. Gallo, 12.8. Cam, 12.8. And remember, Hunter doesn't play after the Knicks series. So we didn't have him for the Philly series or the Bucks. So one case in point, if we had Hunter, we probably still beat the Bucks. Because remember what Kevin Herter did in that series against the Bucks? Go look it up. I don't have to tell you. Wasn't good. But let's do this. In his first playoff series, what did I just do? Okay. In his first playoff series against the New York Knicks, game 1, 32-10. Is that sorry? Does that seem like that's a bad game to anybody? Trash even? 32 points, 10 assists. Game 2, 30 points, 7 assists. Game 3, 21 points, 14 assists. Game 4, 27 points, 9 assists. Game 5, 36 points, 9 assists. Eliminated the Knicks. Does that seem bad to anybody? We again, and this is now. Let me just say this: you have people out there. There's a contingent of people that didn't, for whatever reason, wasn't happy about this experience of beating a team in the first round when we were not favored. You still have people downplaying it in Atlanta. It didn't matter. It wasn't a big deal for some reason, right? Didn't matter, right? Kevin in that series, 8 points, 10 points, 10 points, 11 points, 8 points. Hunter, 5 points, 18 points, 11 points, 5 points, 15 points. Clint, 9 points, 13 boards, 4 points, 12 boards, 13 and 12, 10 and 15, 14 and 15. He helped out mostly. John, 12 and 7. Game 2, he didn't score. I don't know what happened there. Not good. He played 15 minutes. Something happened. Game 3, 14 and 6. Game 4, 22 and 8. Game 5, 13 and 7. Bogey, 18 game 1 and game 2. My fault. Yeah, game 2, 18. Game 3, 15. Game 4, 12. Also had 6 assists, 8 boards. Game 5, he had 9. So game 5, not so much, right? But we get past the Knicks, though. No matter what, we eliminated them. So now we play against the Philadelphia 76ers, right? We win game 1, we lost game 2, lost game 3, won game 4, won game 5, lost game 6, and won game 7. Y'all remember that? Was anybody excited about this or just shrug your shoulders? Who cares, right? The Hawks are in the playoffs. The Hawks trying to get to a championship. This is Trae Young's 3rd year, but Trae is terrible. He shouldn't be here. He's the cause of everything. But we're in the second round of playoffs, though, because of Trae Young, right? Trae Young, game 1, 35 points, 10 assists. That's bad, right? Game 2, 21 points, 11 assists. That's bad, right? Game 3, 28 points, 8 assists. Game 4, 25 points, 18 assists. Game 5, 39.7 assists. Game 6, 34 points, 12 assists. Game 7, 21 points, 10 assists. We eliminate the Philadelphia 76ers. We're in the Eastern Conference Finals now. For some of the other players, Kevin had 15 first game on some great shooting. Second game, he had 20. Third game, he had 3 points. Fourth game, he had 10. Fifth game, 0. Game 6 went back up to 17. Of course, game 7, Kevin. He'll always be remembered as game 7, Kevin, because of 27 points that he dropped. Remember, we didn't have Hunter, though. Would have been easier if we had Hunter. John, 21 points, first game. Game 2 at 8 points, 10 boards. Game 3, 23 and 7. Game 4, 14 and 12. Game 5, 19 and 11. Game 6, 7 and 10. Game 7, 14 and 16 boards. He chipped in. Bogey, 21, 14 in the second game. Game 3, 19. Game 4, 22. Game 5, 6. Game 6, 7. Game 7, 4. He scored single digits the last 3 games of that series. So if Trae didn't do what he did, do we get past Philly? I don't think we do. Clint, 11 and 10. Game 2, 10 and 8. Game 3, 8 and 16. Game 4, 12 and 13. Game 5, 6 and 8. Game 6, 14 and 11. And game 7, 13 and 6. So again, for the most part, Clint was chipping in there. Gallo had 9. 21 in game 2, 17 in game 3, 7 in game 4, 16 in game 5, 16 in game 6, and 17 in Game 7. So he definitely chipped in. Lou had Game 5. He had 15. Let's go to the Bucks series now. Hawks win Game 1, 116 to 113. We lost Game 2, 125 to 91. Got blown out. Lose Game 3, 113 to 102. Win Game 4, 110 to 88. Lose Game 5, 123 to 112, and Game 6, 118 to 107. That's why I keep saying if Kevin had did something and we had Hunter, we beat Milwaukee. Game 1, Trey had 48 and 11. Game 2, he had 15 and 9. One of the reasons we got blown out. Wasn't a great game at all. Game 3, 35 and 4. But then he missed games 4 and 5. We know why, because that stupid referee. We did win Game 4, though, still without Trey. So again, if we had had just a little bit of help from either Kevin or someone, because see, Kevin in Game 1 had 13. Game 2, he had 8. Game 3, 11. Game 4, 15. 1 of 7 from 3. Game 5, he had 8. 3 of 12 from the floor. Game 6, he had 6. That was the elimination game. Bogey had 4 points Game 1. Game 2, 8 points. Game 3, 8 points. Clint, 12 and 19, Game 1. Game 2, 2 points, 8 boards. Game 3, 8 points, 11 boards. Wasn't a lot of help there. John had 23 and 15 in Game 1. Game 2, 11 and 8. Game 3, 13 and 8. In Game 4, Kevin had 15. Lou had 21. Bogey had 20. Okay. Cam had 12. Gallo had 10. You won that game 110 and 88. But Game 5, Bogey had 28, but Kevin had 8. Will had 17. John had 19 and 8. Clint had 6 and 8. Gallo 19, but we lost that game 123 to 112. Bogey had 28. John 19 and 8. Wasn't enough. Game 6, he's playing hurt. Trey had 14 and 9. Bogey had 20. John 13 and 11. Kevin had 5. Remember the score of that game? Clint had 14 and 9. Cam had his best game, 21, and Gallo had 13. We didn't lose that game by a lot. We had Hunter out there. I think we beat them. We beat them anyway. We were 2 wins away from the finals, and we would have beat the Phoenix Suns, I believe. Trey didn't get hurt. We definitely beat them. But even with Trey hurt, if we just had a little bit more, we beat the Bucks anyway. The next season, what do? Do we go and say, hey, we were 2 wins away from the NBA Finals. Let's do something to get to the next level. Let's power up. Let's. No, that ain't what we did at all. We brought in Gorgie Jang, TLC, Lance Stevenson, Kevin Knox, and DeLon Wright. Now, DeLon Wright, good player. I like DeLon. And then we drafted Jalen and Sharif. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. TLC averaged 1.5 points in the playoffs. Lance didn't even play. Knox averaged 11 points in the 2 games he played combined. Sharif didn't play. DeLon gave us 8 points. Gorgie Jang didn't score. 2021 season, we scored 113 points a game, which is 6th in the NBA. We gave up 112 points, which was 21st. So we basically scored 1 more point than we gave up the whole season. So you didn't have a whole lot of room for error with that, right? We were 2nd in offensive rating, 26th in defensive rating, 20th in pace of play. Team was 43 and 39. This was the last time they finished 500. Here's the roster. Bogey, Chaundi Brown, Clint, John, Sharif, Gorgie, Gallo, Malcolm Hill, Solomon Hill, Solo, Kevin Huerter, Red Mamba, Hunter, Wes Iwundu, Jalen Johnson, Kevin Knox, TLC, Scholar Mays, Double O, Cameron Oliver, Cam Reddish, Lance Stevenson, Lou Will, DeLon Wright, and Trey Young. Now remember, the team was 2 wins away from getting to the NBA Finals, and this is what we came into the next season with. So remember, I mentioned that some of these players didn't really play a whole heck of a lot. But Cat Barber played 3 games, so 0 points. Bogey, 15 points a game. Chaundi Brown only played 3 games, 9 points. Clint, 11 points, 11.9 boards. Now remember, just last year, the year before this one, he was 15 points, 14 boards. Now he's 11 points, 11.9 boards. John Collins, 16 and 7.8 boards. Sharif didn't play, 0. Gorgie, 3.5. Gallo, 11. Malcolm, he only played 3 games. I don't count. Solo only played 13 games. Kevin, 12 points. Hunter, 13 points a game. He was 15 the year before. Went down 2 points. Wesley Wundo only played 3 games. Jalen Johnson only played 22 games. Kevin Knox played 17 games. TLC, 4 points a game. Scholar Mays, 2.9. Double O went up to 8.2 points a game. Cameron Oliver only played 2 games. Lance Stevenson only played 6 games. Lou Will, 6 points a game. DeLon Wright, 4 points. Trey, 28 points, 9.7 assists. So we had all those players who didn't even play the season. Our second leading scorer was John Collins with 16. Bogey next at 15. And that's all we had. That Miami playoff series, of course, let's blame Trey, but Bogey, John, Gallo, hurt. Clint, hurt, not available. A lot of people hurt. And you know what Coach Spo says, I'm not going to let the best player on the other team beat us. I'm a smart coach. We're going to double and triple team Trey if we got to. That's exactly what doggone happened, right? And dared everybody else to do something. One person did, for the most part. That was Hunter, of course. But if we had a little bit of help from some others, we still could have beat the Miami Heat, as far as I'm concerned. Right? Hawks had 4 players score double digits. Hunter, 14, Gallo, 17, Collins with 10, Kevin Knox with 10, Kevin had 8, Bogey had 6, Trey had 8 points, 1 of 12 shoot. Clint didn't play. That was game 1. We lost. Game 2, Trey had 25 and 7, though. Kevin, 9, Gallo, 2, John, 13. Remember, he at the finger and the other injury. Bogey had 29 in that game, though. Hunter had 16. Clint didn't play again. Hawks played 8 guys in that game. Game 3, Trey 24 and 8. Hunter had 17. Kevin had 13. Gallo 11. John 6. Bogey had 18. Okongwu 9. Clint didn't play again. DeLon had 13. We win that game. But then game 4, Trey 9 and 5. Hunter 24. Kevin 4. John, who really shouldn't have been playing at all, 11. Clint, 2. Knox had 12. Bogey had 4 in that game. We lost that game. Game 5, Trey had 11 and 6, 8 boards. Hunter, 35 points, 11 boards, 3 steals. Best game of his career. Kevin, 12. John, 7. Clint, 2. Gallo, 12. We lost that game by 3 points. We were eliminated. Game 7, Kev, why couldn't we get 18 points out of him? John was hurt. Clint's hurt. It is what it is. So that season is over. So now the 2022 season, what are we going to do now? Okay. So this is what we did. We got DJ, right? Got Sadiq Bey, got some others, right? So let's go over that. 2022 season, the Hawks scored 118 points a game. That was 3rd in the NBA. But we also gave up 118 points a game. That was 26th. 7th in offensive rating, 9th in pace of play, 22nd in defensive rating, by the way. We were 41 and 41. So not under 500, but not above 500 either, right? Again, we got DJ. John had his lowest usage in his career per shot attempts. Okay, it was his lowest points he's ever scored in his career up till then. He was shooting 34, by the way, from 3 for his career, starting off 34%, 35%, 40%, 40%, 36% from 3. He shot 29% in this particular season. We know the finger issue. And they kept making him shoot threes. Instead of, can you just post him up and just let him hit turn around jumper or straight up pop-up jumper? Why not? He can hit that shot. And he can still finish at the rim. Best finisher we've ever had. No, let's just keep making him shoot threes. But whatever. Sadiq Bey, Bogey, Clint, John, Jarrett Culver, Bruno, Trent Forrest, AJ, Aaron Holiday, Justin Holiday, Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Frank the Tank, Vitt, Tyrese Martin, Garrison, DJ, Double O, Donovan, and Trey. Sadiq Bey averaged 11, Bogey 14, Clint 12 and 11. Jared only played 10 games. Bruno played 8 games. Trent 2 points a game. AJ 9 points, 37% from 3. Rising star. Aaron 4, Justin 4, Hunter 15, Jalen 5.6, Frank the Tank 2.7, Vitt 1 point, Tyrese 1 point, Garrison only played 9 games, DJ 20 and 6, O 10, Donovan Williams didn't play any games, Trey Young 26 and 10. Playoffs. Okay. Brought in DJ, right? Frank the Tank, brought Bruno back. We got Vic, got Garrison, the Holiday brothers, Trent, drafted AJ and Tyrese, brought in Culver, brought in Sadiq Bey. Boston series, okay? Boston won game 1, 112 to 99. Game 2, 119 to 106. Game 3, the Hawks won 130 to 122. Game 4, Boston wins 129, 121. Only lost by 8. Game 5, Hawks win again, 119 to 117. Game 6, the Hawks only lose by 8 points, 128 to 120. Game 1, Trey had 16 and 8. Game 2, 24 and 6. Game 3, 32 and 9. Game 4, 35 and 15. Game 5, 38 and 13. Game 6, 30 and 10. Had 2 steals a game for 4 of those 6 games, but it's Trey's fault though somehow. Game 1, DJ had 24. Hunter had 11. John 12. Clint 12. Bogey 9. We lost that game 112 to 99. DJ did his job, right? Game 2, DJ had 29. Hunter had 18. John 5. Clint 4. Bogey had 18. We lost that game 119 to 106. Again, DJ did his job, right? Game 3, DJ had 25. Hunter had 11. Clint 10. John 8. Bogey 15. Bay had 15. JJ had 10. We win that game 130 to 122. Again, DJ did his job, helping Trey, right? Game 4, DJ had 23. Hunter had his best game with 27. Clint had 10. John 5. Bay 5. Bogey 8. We lost that game by 8 points, 129 to 121. By the way, both Tatum and Brown averaged 31 points a game in this series. Who's guarding Tatum and Brown in this series? Anybody want to know that answer to that? You know the answer. All we need to do is slow one of those 2 guys down. And again, I say we beat Boston straight up because game 5, DJ was suspended. Hunter had 13. Bogey had 18. John had 22. Clint had 4. Bay had 12. Of course, Trey had the game-winning shot. We win 119 to 117. He had 38 and 13 in that game. And then in game 6, DJ had 14. Hunter had 20. John 16. Clint 10. Bogey 12. We lost that game by 9 points, 129 to 120. We should have beat Boston in the first round that year, but we didn't. So again, what do we do the next season? 2023 season, right? That season, we averaged 118 a game, gave up 120. So now we're going even lower. We're scoring 118, but we're giving up 2 more points a game, right? That was 28th in the league. We were 5th in pace of play. We lost 46 games. The roster, Sadiq Bey again, Bogey, Kobe Buffkin, drafted, Clint, Bruno, Trent, AJ, Mohamed Gay, drafted, Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Vitt, Seth Lundy, drafted, Garrison, Wesley Matthews, Patty Mills, DJ, Double O, Dylan, right? Trey Young. Sadiq Bey, 13. Bogey, 17. Buffkin, 4.8 when he was available. Clint, 11 and 10. Bruno, 6. Trent, 2. AJ, 2. Moji, 4. Hunter, 15. JJ, 16. Vitt, 6. Seth, 1. Garrison, 5. Wesley, 3. Patty, 3. DJ, 22 and 6. O, 10 again. Dylan, 4. And Trey, 25, and 10.8. So again, was there a lot to say, hey, let's make sure we don't make the play in? Did we make the moves to do that? No, we didn't. And remember, this is the season where we had all the injuries. Trey ended up going down for 28 games. Hunter went down for 25. Jalen went down for 26. O missed 27. Bay missed 19. It's a lot of players missing. The Hawks lost the last 7 games of the 2023 season. And again, on IMTM Worldwide Radio on YouTube, I documented those 7 losses. I actually did the last 8 games of the season, starting with the last victory the Hawks had, which was against the Detroit Pistons, where we gave up 50 points to Malachi Flynn, which still to this day, nobody will tell me how we gave up 50 points to one player and why, oh, well, it don't matter, Chris. We had to hold on at home for that game. Sad. But I did show you that. Okay. But we know we lost 46 games that season, right? So 2024, we're here now, and we know the season is still going. We know we traded Dyson. We traded for Dyson. He was pacing to be Defensive Player of the Year currently, proving that you can play defense with Trae Young on the floor. Because that's what I was told. I was like, well, I was told that Hunter, the reason he can't stay healthy is because he's always trying to play defense around Trae Young. And I'm like, okay, that's a great story, but that's just a lie. That's just a bold-faced lie. You have to want to play defense, and you have to put in the effort to play defense. Hunter was never a leader on our own team in any defensive category. Why wasn't he leading in charges taken? Why wasn't he leading in steals? Why wasn't he leading or a leader in blocks? Why wasn't he getting more than 4 rebounds a game as a small forward? Big as he is, right? 2024 season before he got traded, Trey had double the amount of steals and blocks than DeAndre Hunter. Tell me something. How is that possible? He was never first, second team all defense. He was never a defensive player of the year candidate for 5 seasons. But his excuse is another player? That's just bull. We see it now. We see it every game, don't we? And by the way, Dyson is first in shots defended. Trey is 50th in the NBA. The response I got was, oh, well, since he gets targeted as much as he does. No, again, I've shown hours of footage to show you Trae Young is not the one getting targeted in all these games. And he's not giving up the most points in each game. I've shown you that. He isn't. He just simply isn't giving up he's not, first of all, nobody can give up all the points in any game, but he's consistently not the one who gives up the most points every game. And remember, he's also contributing the most points per points and assists, combined points and assists. He erases almost every game that could be contrived as bad, unless he has like a 10 turnover game, something like that. That's pretty bad. It's hard to overcome that, right? Unless you go 40 or something, right? Which he does sometimes, right? But if he has a bad shooting night where he only has like 12, 13 points, yeah, that's on Trey right there. But a lot of these games, those turnovers ain't overcoming what he's done on the floor. They're just not. Even that Pistons game, he had 9 turnovers. I mean, he had, my bad, he had 7 turnovers for 9 points. He produced 68 points in that game. 15 points in the fourth quarter plus 5 assists. And we left 32 points on the floor from missed shots of passes from Trey. 14 points in the second quarter alone. 4 of those were threes. Wide open threes. Miss. 2 of them from Niang. But anyway. But here's what we're talking about in 2024 as well. We know we lost JJ for the year, obviously. Kobe, Vitt, and Nance went down to injuries. Vitt is back now. We traded Bogey and Hunter for Karras, Niang, and Mann to cut salary, whatever. But Those players have been playing very well with Trey, right? Um, the injury bug has always been plaguing us. So I guess that's one reason that with Hunter, do you risk him ever being able to play 70 games in a season on a regular basis? I don't know. He hasn't done it up till now. I think he's close now, though. This time he might actually do it, I guess, right? I predicted last year, October 2nd, that the Hawks would finish sixth in the league, right? That was before all the injuries at the very beginning of this season. That was before, of course, all the trades. That was before all the secondary injuries that we've had since then. But I'm not coming off of that. I still think they can make it. Now it's getting harder now. 3-4 weeks left. It's going to be hard. But the teams that are above them, they're not, pushing themselves out there. They're still kind of hovering, Indiana and the Pistons, right? So one of the reasons that I'm staying with that is because of what they've been doing. So Dyson, 14 points, 3 steals, 4 assists, 5.6 boards a game for the season. JJ this season, 18.9, 10 boards, 5 assists a game. Hunter before the trade, 19 points, 4 boards. Levert, 16. Niang, 14. O, 12 and 5, but much more as a starter. I forgot to put that in there. Bogey before the trade, 10 points a game. Zach, 10 points a game. Man, 8.9. Clint, 9 points, 8.5. Vitt, 7. Nance, for his injury, 8.5. Garrison, 8. Plowd only played 2 games, but 12 points a game. Wallace, 5.5. Moji, 6. Roddy, 4.5. Kobe, 5.3. Barlow, 3.1. Trey, 23.6, 11.6 assists. Right? So that's this season so far. Okay, 2024 season, which is not over yet. Right? Now, there's a couple of episodes that I've discussed a lot of stuff about the Hawks. One of those episodes, I'm going to post it in the chat box real quick. It's called Rosters Matter. And again, what I always talk about is if you're going to demean and diminish what Trey has done, you got to do that for all the other Hawks teams and all the other good NBA teams in history. Okay? Because those other players who are supposedly great had great players around them. They had good to great superstar, the Hall of Fame players around that one player. My goodness, Luka now has LeBron James. Luka has had Dirk, Porzingis, Jalen Brunson, right? Then it went and got Kyrie. Then it went and got Clay. Now it didn't finish out, but he had all those players around him. Now he got some Braun and Austin Riley and all these people, right? Did I say Austin Riley? Is that his name? I'm thinking baseball a little bit now. But think about all the players that all these other guys have around them. What other teams have done to get that one player or 2 players or 3 players. Even if it didn't work, they tried it. In Philly, it hadn't worked yet. They tried to put all these people around Joel, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Mostly that's because of Joel and his health, though, right? The Philadelphia 76ers, have had James Harden and Paul George on their team within the last 5 years, right? It's crazy. But go check out Rosters Matter because they do. I just proved it to you. 2018 till now, and compare all the other teams that were below us and now are ahead of us in the East. And look at what their rosters were 7 years ago and look at what they are now. And it shows you what I'm talking about here. And then compare them to what we have done, player for player. I did an episode called What's the Point? And in that particular episode, I talked about everybody being able to do their job, whatever that job is. So is it your job to screen players? Is it your job to block shots? Is it your job to steal the ball? Is it your job to hit a jumper? Is it your job to hit a 3-point jumper? What happened here? I got to repost that. Not sure what happened there. But go and watch that because that's a very important episode as well. Let me try this again. All right, there we go. I did an episode called Journalistic Integrity. And I did this episode just on the basis of it's not a good thing to just say stuff out loud at random and not be able to prove anything. You can't just keep saying things without it sticking somewhere. The impressions that are created very easily, obviously, and to not have the ability to backtrack when you know you're wrong doesn't make any sense to me. One of the things that Bob Rathman, um, the television broadcaster of all the Atlanta Hawks games over the last 25, 30 years or so, Georgia Hall of Famer, said that, at a certain point, you have to have some of that. And that's one of the things that he appreciates with Around the ATL, because he sees that with myself and my co-host, Jordan Jackson, over the years. Because again, Bob has been on the show many times. Steve Holman, the real voice of the Hawks, who does the play-by-play on the radio for the Hawks, 92.9 The Game. But they've been on our show plenty of times. And one of the things that they always say is that they just enjoy, how we do things, how we conduct ourselves, stuff like that. And again, I'll take that to the bank every single year, okay, over all the other stuff. You see what I'm saying? So journalistic integrity is important. Another show I did over the last couple of months, defensive ratings and the Atlanta Hawks. Now, y'all know me. I'm not a defensive ratings person so much as I am who gave up the actual bucket. Let's watch the game film in each possession and see who's actually responsible for that bucket. Because ratings only gives you bits and pieces of the story. I want the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. So I did a whole episode about defensive ratings in the Atlanta Hawks. And right after that, or before that, I should say, I did an episode about defense and the Atlanta Hawks. So I'll post that in the comment section as well for y'all to take a look at. Okay, hopefully y'all check these out because they're really good. I also did an episode about missing games and missing shots. One of the things that I added to my game reviews was the missed shots generated from passes from Trae Young. Okay, because you can't, again, how can you be a grown man and blame somebody else for you missing your jump shot? Last night, I missed some point blank shots that went in the cylinder, rolled around the rim, and popped out. But I think it was the rim because I wasn't the only one. It was like 4 or 5 of us point blank layups, and the ball went through. It was crazy. I think somebody had a magnet for real because it was uncanny how the ball would just kind of do everything but go in and actually go in and even pop out. Just saying, it was crazy. But is it Trey's fault that people miss shots, miss dunks, miss layups, wide open shots? Is it really Trae Young's fault? Because that's what you're saying out there, some of y'all. It's crazy. But also missing games. Can't help your team if you're not available, right? Accomplishments matter is another episode I did. Again, to demean and diminish someone's career, you got to do that with everybody. So if you do it for Trae Young, you got to tear down Dominique's statue. You got to take his banner from State Farm Arena, which used to be Phillips Arena, which used to be the Omni. You got to rip it down. You got to rip it down, don't you? Because if Trey's accomplishments don't mean a thing, Dominique Wilkins, Kevin Willis, ISO Joe, Al Horford, none of theirs matters. It don't, right? Right? I did an article some time ago when DJ and Trey and John were playing together, and I wrote an article about it of what should have been happening the whole time with them being on the same team as opposed to what actually was happening. Go check that article out. I did a couple of episodes on DeAndre Hunter on the basis of if we drafted him 4th in the draft as the supposed best defensive player in college basketball and the ACC national champion. Why didn't we never see that on the court? You don't have a whole lot of tape of someone saying, "Man, Hunter, lock that guy down." Every game, every night, 82 games a season. We don't have that footage. We don't have that captured on tape anywhere. Do we? And remember, up until this season, 15, 14 points a game, maybe that you were going to get if he was consistent at all. Many times it wasn't that at all, right? We know this. It's a fact. I can give you all the games, right? I showed you those games at the end of the 2023 season. It's not really good to watch, but go check it out all the same. But check out those 2 episodes there. I did some episodes on Okongwu and Clint combined, so I'll post those here. Check these out on the center position, basically. I did an episode on Kevin Herter a couple years ago because people were saying, "Oh well, he's over there in Sacktown, Kingsland, and everything." But now look at what he's been doing. He had that one good season that did pick up. Offense was a little bit more conducive to him for sure, right? But after that, he's not even double digit scorer anymore now, is it? I think he's back up to 11 with the Bulls, I guess now, right? But with the Kings, he was out the rotation, wasn't he? 9 points a game. But it happened way before that, though. His last season, I gave you the first 30 games of the 22 season was his last season here. Go look at that because it's startling, right? Now, let me ask you this question, and I think I'm almost done. And again, make sure you subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page if you're a Hawks fan, Atlanta Hawks fan, and or fans of other teams in Atlanta and the state of Georgia, of course. And remember, don't forget, you can listen to Around the ATL every Thursday night, 7 p.m. on SportsVisions 92.1 FM on the TuneIn app. So don't forget that. I'll run through that at the end before I go. So, can you win a playoff series with someone doing the following? I want you to answer this honestly now, okay? 13 points a game, 4.7 assists, 40% from the floor, 31% from 3. 10 points a game, 3 assists, 41% from the floor, 44% from 3. This is in the playoffs. 14 points a game, 6.5 assists a game, 37% from the floor shooting, 35% from 3. 13 points a game, 7.9 assists a game, 45% from the floor, 27% from 3. 5.6 points a game, 1.4 assists, 46% from the floor, 39% from 3. 8.2 points a game, 5 assists, 45% from the floor, 30% from 3. 26 points a game, 9 assists a game, 40% from the floor, 30% from 3. Can you? Those first 4 players I mentioned was Jeff Teague, Mike Bibby, Mookie Blaylock, and Doc Rivers. Those are all Hawks point guards over the years. In the playoffs, okay? So think about every iteration of the Hawks and having those point guards in there. How was those numbers helping the Hawks win a championship with the other players that were surrounding them cumulatively, right? It's not great. 28 points, 9.5 assists in his playoff career so far. Wait, my bad. I didn't hit enter. So first playoff series, 28 points, 9.5 assists. His second series, 15.6 assists. That was Miami. They locked them down, right? Third series, though, 29 and 10 in the playoffs against Boston Celtics. As I mentioned, this is not updated as of now, basically after the Clipper game, okay? But as of right now, at the time when I originally put this together and produced this, Trey Young was leading the league in clutch points with 142 over Brunson. Clutch assists, 31 over Jason Tatum. First in assist percentage over LeBron James and Cade. First in assists per game, right? And total assists. First in points generated by assist over the Joker, 28 points a game. Third in points plus assists with only the Joker and Shea ahead of him. But again, somehow Trey is the reason of all the Hawks losses why they don't win games, It's Trey's fault, his alone, right? He is also the NBA leader in potential assists a game at 21. Trey's at 11.5 assists right now. That means 10 shots a game at least are being missed when he passes the ball directly to a player who's wide open. At least 10 a game. Layups, dunks, wide open twos, wide open threes. 34. There was one game this season we left 40 points on the board. I think it was the Sacramento Kings game earlier in the year. 40 missed shots. Trae Young, pass you the ball, you missed a shot. Pass you the ball, you missed a shot. Pass you the ball, you miss a layup. Pass you the ball, you miss a dunk. Pass you the ball, you miss a wide open three. Pat. He passes the ball like 60 times a game, y'all. Y'all know that? He's blamed, though. People missing shots. Now, another point. Again, thanks for subscribing to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page. If you do so, it'll help me out a lot. Russell Westbrook won an MVP. When he did that, he was averaging 31 points a game and 10 assists, 10 boards. Triple-double, 42% from the floor, 34% from three. He was shooting about 24 times a game, average. Some of the players he had on that team was younger Steven Adams, Aquaman, right? Tosh Gibson, Jeremy Grant, Ilyasova, Doug McDermott, Dougie McBuckets, Home Depot. Y'all know who that is. A rookie Sabonis, Kyle Singler, Enes Freedom, and others. All those players can hit their shots, though, right? Finish at the rim. They're pretty decent on defense. He won MVP, shooting 42% from the floor, right? Allen Iverson won his MVP, averaging 31 points a game as well. 4.6 assists, 42% from the floor, 32% from three, won MVP. He was shooting about 25 times a game himself. On that team, we know primarily he had a defensive team. He had Eric Snow and Theo Ratliff, Mutombo, of course, Aaron McKee, Mad Max, George Lynch, Tyrone Hill, all was on that team. They won 56 games that year too, right? Him basically being the primary scorer on the team with a bunch of defenders, right? Trey has never had a season shooting more than 20 shots a game. And the majority of the time he does it, he basically has to. He shot 20 times a game in 2019 and the 2021 season, by the way. Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs, 15 points, 11 assists, and 18 points, 10 assists. But think about some of the players he had on his team. Jim Jackson, Joe Johnson, The Matrix, Amari Stoudemire, Kurt Thomas, Eddie House, Boris Diaw, Raja Bell, Brian Grant, James Jones. They won 62 games and 54 games back-to-back. After the year before he got there, Steve Nash won 29 games. Steve Nash had never had a season of 10-plus assists until he got to Phoenix. Did y'all know that? Go look at Steve Nash's first 7 years in the league, and they don't come close to what Trey has done. The last 3 seasons, Trey Young has averaged 26 points, 10 assists, 25 points, 10.8 assists, and 23.6 points and 11.5 assists. His assists continually go up, no matter who's on the roster. Ain't that amazing? John Morant currently is shooting 43% from the floor and 28% from three. Again, this is at the time I produced the show, which was about a week ago. Melo in Charlotte, 40% from the floor, 33% from three. Folks were putting him in the All-Star game, 2 million votes, 40% from the floor. Again, to continue to diminish what Trey has done means you got to do it equal opportunity with everybody. You got to do it. Because all these players that are great and haven't won a ring yet, again, Michael Jordan didn't win those championships by himself. If anybody's noticed, he had Scott Williams and Cliff Levingston and Will Perdue and Luke Longley and Kerr and Paxson and B.J. Armstrong and Judd Bushler and Think about all those different players, the mix of those different players, but you know what they all did? They all had a job and they did those jobs very well. Horace Grant, right? Dennis Rodman when he got there, right? My job is to get every rebound. My job is to block shots. My job is to take fouls. My job is to finish at the bucket. My job is to hit this 10-foot jumper. My job is to hit a three-point shot. My job is to play defense. And everybody did their job. And then they had a system, and it worked. They didn't go and do a system that didn't work. They did a system and it worked. Unlike what we do, we just keep going with it. We just keep doing stuff that don't work for some reason. We don't know how to adjust out of stuff. We don't know how to play defense because we don't have a defensive coach. We don't know how to double team nobody. We still don't know how to switch and rotate. If we just learned that and just had some discipline, we will win more games. I've shown that in the last review against the Pistons. We double K'd twice in that whole game. But anyway, where was I? Again, all these players that did, Charles Barkley, he always gets the most ribbings from Shaq and stuff about the whole ring thing and everything. But again, I don't look at it like that. Charles Barkley is one of the greatest of all time. He played in one of the hardest eras to play in with the players that were around him who had more around them than he did. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Think about those San Antonio teams that had Duncan and Robinson on it. Like, and then when Robinson left, then it's Tim, and then eventually all of a sudden it's Tim and Kawhi. Like, think about just the evolution of just that franchise over the last 30 years. It's crazy the talent has come through there. Think about all the centers. Like, again, Orlando Magic had Shaq and Dwight. Like, just think about that. We had to go against that all the time. We had to go against Patrick for a decade plus, right? Those Lakers teams, Kareem and all of them, and then they got Shaq, right? Then they got Dwight, right? It's crazy. And then you got LeBron, and then you have, then you got Luka. It never ends over there, huh? What do? Nah, we don't. We just go get some guys with the run with trade just back and forth over the floor. We might get lucky here and there, with the draft and stuff, but we ain't gonna get no true players, or we should have kept John Collins though at the end of the day, right? But anyway, we don't know how to use nobody. We don't know how to use people's strengths. We're just gonna make you do stuff that don't make no sense. We're gonna play TLC and let him get 3 points a game when we got Jalen Johnson who can get rebounds and block shots and run the floor and get easy buckets. And he actually has a jumper now. And we still not gonna play him. Reggie Miller, again, he didn't win a ring. Do we demean him and diminish his accomplishments over his career? I use him as an example because of what he has done in the NBA over a period of time, right? And I'll go back to Hunter one more time. I'm sorry, but if he had been doing half of what Dyson's been doing, the Hawks would have beat Miami straight up still. Okay? On the defense side of things, the scoring ain't enough. We need him to stop people. Boston series, if he slowed down Tatum or Brown, one of those two guys, but I showed the plays. You got plays where he's getting backed down by people, getting blown by Marcus Smart and stuff. Oh, he's getting held up by a screen from Marcus Smart. He can't get around screens, so he's just letting people hit wide open threes. That's ridiculous. He does it again, just effort. In 2000, I don't even know if I want to do this. I got it here, but I don't even know if I want to go through this. 2019 season, deflections. The first Hawk to appear on the NBA list is Cam. He's 45th. Brimbury is next at 50th. Red Mamba is next at 76. Trae Young is next, then Dedmon, then Hunter. That was 2019. We're just talking about deflections. Charges drawn. First Hawk in 2019 to appear. Trae Young, 29th in the NBA. Page 4 By the way, each of these pages on the NBA.com site is 50 players, 50 players, 50 players, 50 players. Hunter was on page 3. I had to look for him. Charges taken. Contested three-point shots. Collins is first on the list. And if you just go year to year, steals, it just goes on and on. He has nothing that differentiates him as a defensive player as opposed to people on his own team. And that can't be cool for anybody. Cam, I believe this is still 2019. No, through the years, 62 steals, 33 steals, 35 steals. Trey, 72 steals, 65 steals, 53, 72, 80, 72, 68 so far this year as of the Clipper game. Hunter, 44, 19, 36, 35, 40, 34, 31. That's lackluster at best, who's supposed to be a pristine defender. What is he doing? Because it ain't stealing the ball. It ain't blocking shots either. 18, 12, 21, 17, 16, and 5. Those are the last 5 seasons of blocked shots for him. His career average for steals was 0.7. Career for blocks was 0.3 as a Hawk. That wasn't good enough, y'all, and it showed up on tape. It showed up in game film. It showed up in game results. So sorry, he's supposed to be our best, and he never was. Dyson is, though. You see the change of this year, the last year? It's very evident. But the other thing with Hunter was also availability. Again, up until this season, maybe, he had never played 70 games in the season. Ever. It's never happened before. Can't help if you're not on the floor, right? Another player that unfortunately, Clint Capella hadn't helped us as much as he used to. Again, that 2020 season, 15 points, 14 rebounds, 2 blocks a game, right? But every season after that, everything just started diminishing, and some of it drastically more than others. Again, he was shooting 59% from the floor in 2020, by the way, as well. 2021, he went from 15 points to 11 points. The boards didn't go down that much, 11.9, so basically 12, but 2 rebounds less, 61% from the floor. That went up a little bit. 2022, 12 points, 11 boards, 65% from the floor. See, that's where you need them at. But then 2023, 11.5 points, 10.6 boards, 57% from the floor. That ain't helping you now. That's a lot of missed shots. And he don't hit free throws, so he don't hit threes. So if you can't finish in the paint, that's a lot of trouble there. Especially if you're giving up a lot of points too. Remember, if you can't stop nobody, you got to score, right? If you can't score, you got to stop somebody. It can't be neither though, right? 2024, 9 points, 8.5 boards, 56% from the floor, which is worse. His defensive boards have dropped each year since 2020 as well. 2020, 4.7 offensive, 9.6 defensive. 2021, 3.8 offensive, 8.1 defensive. 7.1, 6.0, and this year, 5.4 defensive boards. 3.2 offensive boards. It's not a factor, y'all. Sorry, it's not. And again, those offensive boards don't mean that much if you can't get them back in the bucket, which goes back into his points per game. It's not effective. He's 54% from the free throw line. So there's that, right? The Hawks lost 21 games by 7 points or less in the 2023 season. A lot of missed ducks adds up at that point, right? Point blank shots at the rim. Here's the Wemby game. I'm going to let y'all watch this review again, where a guy who was averaging 24 points scored 42 points against the Hawks. Who was guarding Wemby? Who was guarding Wemby? The 2023 team, their defensive ratings: AJ 120, DJ 119.5, Bay 119.1, Trey 119.1, Okongwu 119, Hunter 117.9, so basically 118, Vic 118, Garrison 116, Clint 116, JJ 115, Mohamed Gay 115, Wesley 115, Seth, Bogey, Trent 114, Bruno 114, Dylan at 112. So when does defensive rating matter? Because I just gave you the 2023 team. It was bad for all players, but now it don't matter because DJ has 119 defensive rating, just like Trae Young too. Can't have it both ways, can you? Right? Shooting guards averaged 30 points against the Hawks in 2023 season. Small forwards averaged 27 points against the Hawks in the 2023 season. So if our best defender and our second best defender isn't able to stop that, how is that the point guard's fault? Who isn't playing the shooting guard or the small forward? And by the way, again, I don't think some of y'all have ever played basketball before, because how do you continue to try to argue that your worst defender is supposed to be against the best offensive player on the other team? That's how y'all play 5-on-5? Because I would never do that. Hey, who got down? I got down? Okay, I got you, and you. All right. So who are we playing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I will play the fastest guy on the other side then. Let's do that. No, we're not going to do that because Chris is old. My feet don't go as fast as they used to. I'm the biggest guy out there. So if I go and try to stick John Morant, he's going to go around me every single time because I don't have the foot speed no more. I can't do it. Now, although Sunday night I did stop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander for the first time, I felt pretty good about it too. I played him straight up. Didn't need no help or nothing. Wasn't the whole night though. But on that one possession, I got switched on him. I stopped him. I was very happy. But you don't do that on a regular basis and expect to win though. So why would Trae be on Joker? Why would Trae be on Kevin Durant? Why would Trae be on Jason Tatum? That doesn't make any logical sense, does it? No, it don't. Other teams wouldn't do that. And they don't because it's foolish. But anyway, here are the defensive ratings of the 2024 season so far as of, again, that Clipper game. Nance, 116. Dyson, 115. Zach, 114. O, 113. Trae, 113. Man, 113. Levert, 112. Matthews, 112. Niang, 111. That's kind of surprising, right? That's why I don't go in the ratings all the time. Who actually gave up the shots is what I put out there, right? Clint, 111. Barlow, 110. JJ, 110. Vitt, 110. Wallace, 109. Team seems better to me. Definition of defensive rating: statistic used in basketball to measure an individual's player's efficiency at preventing the other team from scoring points. The formula is defensive player rating equals player steals times blocks plus opponent's differential equals 1/5 possessions times blown by plus deflections official adjusted player's defense withstand. This stat can be influenced by the defense of players' teammates too. So what does that mean? Those switches, those lack of rotations, all that stuff comes into play a lot, right? For sure. But again, this stat is influenced by more than one player. So there's 5 people on the floor. You see what I'm saying? So despite me showing all the game film over the last couple of years, there's people who just won't want to look at it from just that standpoint because that's the only one that really matters. When Clint leaves his man and creates a mismatch because he left his man, or another person leaves their man and creates a mismatch because nobody said nothing, because we don't communicate as a Hawks team, we won't talk. We just point. That matters. Or when you got, like Garrison always likes to leave his man and he's just standing in the paint. His man is over here in the corner waiting for the ball to come and rotate to him because he's in the corner pocket 3. Garrison is way over here, 40 feet away from his man. It creates a mismatch. That's bad. But nobody acknowledges none of it. It's as if they don't see it. But I show it to you, so you can't help but see it, but they still ignore it. So what I did, those 28 games that Trae missed in 2023, I went through all the scores, what the other teams did scoring, points in the paint, second chance points, fast break points, and 3-point percentage. And I said, well, if Trae misses 28 games, these numbers should all go down. These numbers, the final score shouldn't be 128 points given up. It should be more like, I don't know, 101. 102, but that wasn't the case. Was it? For those who watched that episode, who watched those 8 games that I did last year of 2023 season. But the 28 games that Trey missed, that we went 14-14. Why did we lose 14 games, first of all? And in those 14 wins, why are we giving up 125 points a game? Well, Chris, we did still win. Well, shoot, we win a lot of games on the other side where Trey is here too. And no one says nothing then when we win. You just shrug your shoulders and act like we didn't win. As if you didn't want them to win. That's the attitude that's posted online all the time. All the time, every game, no matter what. Nothing positive. No one could ever say anything positive. It's always negative. Again, that's why I say a lie of omission is still a lie. Just because you didn't say a name. But that's why I started doing the reviews. Like I said, if the Hawks were 60-0 when Trey doesn't play, you would have a great argument then. But they're 26-32 without Trey all time, right? So you got to negate that. There's a lot of stuff that's happened over the last 10, 15, 20, 30 years in Hawks history, right? We have 2 Eastern Conference Finals appearances, period. So how many mistakes have been made in drafting players, free agency, and trades to cause that, as opposed to all the teams around us who have multiple finals appearances, right? That's a lot, isn't it? How come the front office isn't being blamed? Now, to credit to most people do get mad at the front office and everything on a decent regular basis, right? Not so much ownership. People gloss over that. They just try to make Wrestler as the best owner the Hawks have ever had somehow. I don't know how they do that. Don't know how. Don't know how. But Dominique Wilkins, he wasn't known as a defender. He scored over 26,000 points. Okay. Has a statue in front of State Farm Arena, one of the greatest Hawks ever. Right? When he retired, he was top eight in scoring in NBA history when he retired. That's how great Dominique Wilkins was. But yet, again, if you hate Trey, you should hate Dominique on the premise of he didn't win a championship, right? Right. Well, I just told you where Trey is in NBA history thus far earlier in the episode. And a player like that, if you had put any other name other than Trey Young, you'd be like, oh wow, man, you'd be making up a song like the LeBron James song. Have y'all heard that song yet? LeBron James. Have y'all heard that crazy? I know it's the craziest song ever. But they made it. Y'all would be doing that same thing. But you got a player like that on your team. Literally is breaking historical records as a point guard, 6'1" of them, and people hate him to death. And that's crazy. It's crazy. He literally has a shot to finish top 10 in both points and assists all time or higher. Literally. As a Hawk. And our organization won't even try. Although, again, this season they did. I said that at the beginning. I said that after the summer and we saw everything that they did, I said this is the first time since 2020 that the Hawks made any valuable moves to try to push the envelope a little bit, right? But they got to finish it out. We had a chance at the trade deadline, to get Vucevic. We could have had a real center that actually could finish shots and hit threes all of a sudden. NBA center, current 2025 NBA center, averaging 19 and 10, 20 and 10, 40% from 3. Finishes, shots, a threat. You could play 5-on-5 with Vucevic out there. We didn't do that, though. We did not do that. But again, if Trey is sorry, LeBron has to be sorry. Neek, Magic Johnson, he has to be terrible. Westbrook, MVP. Dame, Joker, Allen Iverson, MVP. Isaiah Thomas, Dwayne Wade, Michael Jordan, Curry. All those things that he and Michael Jordan share, but Trey is trash too, though. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. So, well, all I ask is that people show the entire story. Okay. And again, when I do game reviews, it's not just about one player, it's the whole team. You go through one of my game reviews, I'm going through what everybody has done in that game, total wise. I'm showing you possession for possession. I'm not hiding nothing because this is what happened in the game. How can I change what happened in the actual game? I want to get to the bottom of why we lost. You see what I'm saying? Did Trae Young give up 148 points to the Pistons? No, he didn't. He gave up 21. 21 is not more than 148. I can do math. I'm not great at it, but I can do that math. Right? Go watch those reviews because they're very interesting. They're very detailed and everything. Go check those out on the IMTM Worldwide Radio, IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube page. Go check that out. Again, Trae Young isn't giving us 12 and 3 every game. If Trae Young was giving us 12 points and 12 assists, 12 points and 3 assists a game, you would have an argument. Trae ain't worth the money. If that's what he was giving us every game, you would have an argument. I would agree with you. Easy. It wouldn't even be a thought. But Trae Young isn't giving us Mike Bibby numbers. He's not giving us Jeff Teague numbers. He's not doing that. He's not. I can prove that easily too. Go look at that Spurs game. Can I play it here? Oh, you know what I could do? I'll help you out a little bit. I'll sneak it in, even though I didn't want to do this. So here's what I wanted to show you. This is what I showed at the end of the other review. That San Antonio game that we lost by a few points in overtime, it should never have went to overtime in the first place. Here is the reason we went to overtime in that Spurs game. I'm going to explain it to you. That first three-pointer, because we were up by 3, and then they tied it. They tied it because Hunter left his man. And Vassell went all the way, Vassell went all the way up to the top of the key, got the pass, and hit a 3. Watch.
Paul. Keldon Johnson stepping in. Kicks it out. Vassell, quick fire. Tied at 150.
That's not defense. And we had a 3-point lead. All Hunter had to do is stay with his man. That shot doesn't happen. They got to shoot another shot. That shot was wide open because Hunter let his man do that. But guess what? We scored on the very next possession and had another 3-point lead. Watch what happens because instead of Hunter staying with Chris Paul, he allows himself to be back cut and switches to Wemby for some reason instead of just going back to Chris Paul, which meant that Nance all of a sudden had Chris Paul, and Nance just lets him hit a 3, unfortunately. Watch this.
Sucks in our jerseys, and there's Jalen Johnson all by himself.
Paul tied it! And a foul!
Pretending to play defense is not defense. Hoping someone misses a shot is not defense. Neither of those shots had anything to do with Trae Young. That was 6 points right there that didn't need to be scored. We disallowed one of those shots. The Hawks win that game in regulation. Oh, by the way, who hit the first shot in overtime?
Paul, 5 seconds on the shot clock, guarded by Dyson Daniels. Kicks it out. Wembanyama stepping through and hit a 3 at the shot clock buzzer.
Wow. That wasn't Trae's man. That was Nance's man. And y'all really thought that Trae was going to block Wemby's shot? Nance wasn't going to block it either, but if Nance had never left him in the first place, Wemby wouldn't have been wide open. He would have to think about it a little bit. Heck, Nance could have fouled him, wrapped him up. Don't let him shoot it. Make him hit free throws, right? Journalistic integrity. All I'm asking is show it all. Don't be one-sided about it. Because when I talk about Hawks, I talk about everybody, not just one player. And the games where Trae Young definitely has some issues and stuff, I bring it up. That other game that he had the other night, I think that was the Clippers game. That was a bad night. It sure was. But some other players had some bad nights too, right? Let's put them all in the basket together. But to continue to try to blame Trae Young for losses when he's doing what he's doing every night, like how can you go? How can you go? Let me do this, and then I'm gonna get off of here. How can you go? Is this it right here? I'm trying to do this in real time. Give me a second. Is this right? It is March. Okay. So how can you go 38-6, 38-13, 38-19, and be like, that's Trey's fault? We're losing because of Trey. How can you say that? 28-12, 35-12. Well, we won that game. 36-8. Like even in the wins, again, you got people saying, "Oh, well, it's still Trey's fault that they were close," or just stupid stuff. 28-13, we lose that game by 6, but it's Trey's fault. That was against the Bucks. 28-13, it's Trey's fault. 15 assists, 12 assists, 14 assists, 13 assists. 38-13, we lose that game against the Pistons. 38-6 against the Orlando Magic. 38-19 against the Knicks. We lose that game by 1 freaking point, but it's Trey's fault somehow. That's absurd. It's absurd. 32-12, we lose by, again, 1 point to the San Antonio Spurs. 34-17, we lose to the Pacers, 132-127, but that's Trey's fault, though. Maybe he shouldn't pass the ball at all. 17 assists, maybe he should just shoot the ball. Let's see, he shot the ball in that game 26 times. Maybe he should shoot the ball 40 times a night. Right? Why not? Let's do it all the way. Go, let's do it. Cleveland, rock and roll. Let's do it. So anyway, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Again, when it comes to journalistic integrity, show the whole story. Don't just be so partial and, one-sided to where it doesn't really make logical sense, especially when a player is doing historical NBA things that no other point guard is doing. In history, you see what I'm saying? Like, not just Hawks history, but NBA history, though, it's happening. Why not? Why don't we put players around Trey like other players put guys around these other stars of the NBA? Why can't we do that? What's the real reason? What's the root reason? There's a guy on Facebook page that says, well, the reason that they're benching our rookie, the number 1 pick in the draft. You know the reason. You know the reason. Richard Shea played 5 minutes in the fourth quarter the other night. 5. We needed him. He had 16 points, but he played 5 minutes in the fourth quarter. But I'm supposed to believe, well, the owner told Snyder not to play the rookie. Don't play the rookie more than 20 minutes a game. We don't need him to win Rookie of the Year. I pay him more money. That's our organization. That's the one y'all want to pay season tickets to? Not me. I can watch on TV or listen to on the radio on 92.9 The Game with Steve Homer. I can't pay no tickets if that's the move. And then why would players want to stay here? Because of that mentality, if that's the real, right? Subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel. Make sure you do that. Make sure you pay attention to our, not subscribers, but our contributors. Let me find them real quick. Jamal Price of Price Design Club. Artist Ram One and producer Calcutta, who made the new theme song for the show. Price Design Club made the last 2 logos for Around the ATL. And Yolanda Elder Strong just helped us out a little bit. Our sponsors, SouthernClassicTransportation.com. Call them at 404-291-0150. Ask for Dennis. Make sure you let them know Around the ATL sent you. If you need to go to Texas, you need to go to South Carolina, you need to go to Florida, wherever you need to go, they will take you there and bring you back safe. Hit them up. Also, IMTMWorldwideImages.com. If you need photos, headshots, business photos for your company. You need headshots for marketing purposes, your social media pages. You're trying to act, trying to do a little modeling, whatever. Family photos. I do maternity pictures, whatever it is. IMTMWorldwideImages.com is the people to go to. So that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna play the old outro, I guess, because I don't get to play it too much anymore on the 30-minute show. Don't forget, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, we have a new episode of Around the ATL coming. It's going to be a little bit more Falcon centric as we get closer to the draft, and we'll be talking some more Hawks. I don't know if we're going to talk any Braves. We'll have to see, but just check out the show. Appreciate the support as always. But again, when it comes to the Atlanta Hawks and Atlanta Hawks legacy, we don't have a legacy like other teams, but we do have one. And you got to make a decision at one point or another. Do you really want the team to be successful, or you don't want the team to be successful? But pick a side. Again, I always say, don't you want to be on the side of history that's positive? Don't you want to see your team, going down Peachtree Street with the parade and the ribbons and the bus and champagne and all that kind of stuff? Don't you want that? I don't think a lot of people want it per what they say every day. Their attitudes say the opposite of that. And all I'm saying is it's always a 50-50. You don't know what will happen near the end of the year. You don't know what will happen if they make the playoffs. Trae Young's third season, we were 2 games away from the finals. And we've done everything to go backwards since then until this year. So let's see if we could just have a little positivity, right? I don't think I'm asking for a lot. But again, those who don't want to be positive and they want to be hateful and hurtful and mad and angry and diminishing and demeaning and everything and disrespecting people who want the Hawks to succeed and want to see, things be better, have at it. Have at it. I'm going to continue to be on the side of positivity and hope things turn out for the best. So that being said, I'll talk to y'all another time. This is Chris on Around the ATL Side Notes. I'll talk to y'all another time. Peace.
Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect, around the ATL. Dribble, pass, throw, catch, hit, slide, grab, respect. This is ATL, you know we stay lit. Always united, check the new kit. Home of the praise, yeah, we on deck. We fly like a bird, like them Hawks, check. Soaring through the city, rise up, dirty birds. All we do is win, losing's a dirty word. Selling out them seats, the city is on blast. Gotta get your tickets cause they selling out fast.